So, you completed all your training, you have an approved home study. What's next? Good question. Well, it depends on if you're working with a local agency or if you are working private. It looks a little bit different depending on the route you're taking in this process. If you're working with a local agency, remember I said before in a previous video that with the local agency you're going to be kind of waiting because they're going to be looking at their children, and as their cases kind of come up, if they find something that kind of matches your home study profile and your information, they feel like maybe kind of a good match. Once they find that, they'll give you a call, they'll contact you and say, look, we have this child or these children we'd like you to consider. At this point, you're probably pretty excited and ready to go, and you'll say, yeah, tell us about them. And they'll present the information and start just kind of sharing you. What's going on is that when you go to those websites, like the Hard Gallery, what you're seeing there is what they call a child summary. It's just a brief blurb about the likes and the wonderful things about the child. But what they're going to do now is they'll possibly open up what they call a child study. And child study, maybe 3 or 4 pages, more or less, in which they're going to start giving you a lot more details about the child, kind of like what brought them into care, what are the sibling connections, the attachment connections, what are behavioral issues, what are the likes and their dislikes, are there any diagnosis, just in general, what is going on with the child, how long they've been in care, and kind of what's been going on in this time. So give you a lot better information. If you're working with a private agency, once you've completed your home study, at that point you'll be approaching this differently. You'll be probably checking all these websites. Hopefully your provider who did your home study will be kind of directing you towards some places to be looking yourself. You won't be waiting, you'll be looking. And you'll be going on these different sites and you'll be submitting your home study to these folks. Be aware though, often, let's say that you send your home study out to an agency, often they're not going to immediately want to talk to you. They will usually want to talk to whoever wrote your home study. And this is going to be an important question for you to ask the private home study provider, is ask them directly, what happens next? When I send my home study, are you going to be open to talking to these agencies if they want to talk to you? It's going to be a very big question. And usually say yes, but it again depends on what arrangement you've made with them. At that point, once they've talked to them, and they want to kind of find out from what they consider from a professional about you and kind of whether you're going to be a good match for their children. But usually at that point, they'll then open up and start talking to you directly, and so you can ask your questions and you can talk with them about what's going on and kind of assess also whether you may be a good match for this child. Let's say though that whether it's local or whether it's through private, you feel like you got a connection here. Well, the next step will be what they call a match meeting. And then again, this is not set in stone. It's different for every adoption. Seems to be working differently, but this kind of gives you a general idea. With a match meeting, what happens is, whether it's local or wherever, they'll have an internal meeting where that child's located, and the people involved in that meeting, you'll have the social worker, you'll have possibly the guardian ad litem. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but a guardian ad litem is a court-appointed volunteer. It's kind of eyes and ears in the case, and they may have been involved in the case from the very beginning, just kind of checking up on what's going on with the child and reporting to the court system. There may be other professionals in adoptions and foster care involved in this meeting, and you'll be there. Well, not you in person. Your home study will be there, and possibly the person who wrote your home study. Now, if it's local, then probably the person who wrote your home study is already there. But let's say that you're in Orlando and this case is in Pensacola or Panhandle somewhere, or down in Miami, or even another state. Well, your worker is probably already present there physically, but they'll do a phone conference. It's common for them to be phone conferenced into this meeting. And the purpose of this meeting is, well, they're probably not just considering you. You have to understand they're probably looking at 2 or 3 other families. They're looking for options for this child, because they're trying to figure out what's going to be the best option for them. But at this point, what will happen is it usually opens up with the social worker. They'll start sharing, going into detail, everything they know about that child. Now, hopefully you've answered all your questions and you kind of know what's going on with the child already. But they do this for a particular reason, because now you have the social worker who's sharing the history of this child before this group of professionals. And in this meeting, these professionals are really going to quiz them. Now, not quizzing them just for the sake of making them miserable. They're quizzing them because what may happen is that something may come out, something important may come out that for some reason didn't come out before. And the person who's wrote your home study, the person who's listening, who's about to present you, they hear this, and maybe something important. They may hear this and say, "Oh no, I know this family. I know how they feel about this. This is a deal breaker for them. They're not going to be able to go forward with this." And that person, they hear this, they may just say at the table right then, they may say, "Look, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and remove my family. I know this is not going to be a good match for them." Or it might be just the opposite. It might be while they're going over the issues or needs or the history of this child, the person who wrote your home study is saying, "Man, we've already talked about this stuff. These are the supports that my family has around them. This is how this is why they're comfortable with this need or this issue. This is why they're prepared for it." So either way, it can be positive or negative, but it kind of gives the professionals a much better idea what's going on and much better whether you're going to be a good match. Because you have to understand the goal of this is not about finding a child for you. The goal of this is about really finding the right family for the children. And they'll usually tell you this up front, that they're just looking for what's going to be the best match. What family has the best strengths for this child or these children's need. I'll talk about what goes next in part 2 of this video. Thank you.